The Quran operates as a time-independent topological universe, functioning as a diagnostic engine rather than a chronological record. In this framework, the text serves as an eternal memory field for the reader. Understanding the mechanics of this system requires mapping a specific anomaly, the traversal of a classically forbidden zone by a deterministic entity. The narratives of Yunus and Musa'S fish provide the specific coordinates for its traversal, functioning as models for quantum tunneling. This illustrates the Schrödinger equation, dictating the behavior of a wave packet encountering a potential energy barrier. It maps the interaction between kinetic expansion and the barrier potential V psi. The transmission coefficient dictates the probability of the wave surviving intact. Analyzing these verses requires treating the text as a set of boundary conditions for wave-particle transitions. A potential energy barrier creates a region where the barrier's energy is higher than the energy of the incident wave. This forbidden zone maps to the fish belly in verse 37.142 and the sea depth in verse 1861, both defined by the potential V0. Under deterministic mechanics, the wave cannot penetrate this region. It results in a total reflection and zero transmission. Penetration occurs only as an exponential decay, where the decay constant, kappa, dictates how quickly the wave amplitude collapses. As kappa approaches infinity, the transmission probability drops to zero. Verses 37.143 and 144 define this state as permanent entombment inside the barrier. Without phase modulation, the wave function collapses, trapping the entity in the time container until the day of raising. The text provides the specific requirement for a coherence operator to prevent this mathematical absorption. In this topology, Tasbih serves as the phase-coherence term. The frequency alignment in verse 2187 suppresses the decay constant. This coherence maintains a non-zero amplitude, preventing decoherence inside the barrier's volume. Crossing requires the wave to traverse the horizontal width, W. Verse 6848 is often viewed as a separate spatial node, or a second barrier. The term makẓūm defines the interior evanescent state of the wave, characterized by intense vertical compression. Here, W represents the narrative distance between the swallowing and the expulsion. Penetrating deeper into the forbidden zone requires sustaining this precise coherence across the total, crushing width of the barrier. This phase coherence transforms a forbidden boundary into a traversable medium. While Yunus maps the internal state of the wave, Musa'S fish defines the structural geometry of the path. Verse 1861 uses the specific word sarab to define a perfect subterranean tunnel bored directly through a solid medium. This fish maps to the kinetic expansion term, navigating the potential without triggering a classical traversal. Observing a particle during a tunnel event collapses the wave function, meaning the traversal cannot be witnessed in real time. In verse 1863, the forgetting of the fish signifies that the event is only observed retroactively. The transmission probability is calculated only after the wave function emerges beyond the width of the barrier. Together, these narratives define the coherence required for survival and the topology of the resulting channel. We can now define the output condition of the wave as it emerges at the far boundary. The emerging wave function is intact but attenuated, having lost energy to the barrier. This state corresponds to the term sakim in verse 37.145. Deterministic mechanics do not allow the wave to spontaneously restore this energy on the manifest side of the barrier. Restoring the amplitude to equilibrium requires a localized gain function. This restoration operator is described as the Yakteen vine in verse 37.146. This quantum tunneling operation forms a unified topological string. The journey moves from origin to confinement, through expansion and compression to final closure. This resolves in the Raman completion, returning the system to a state of zero impedance. This topological sequence defines the structural requirement for the reader, applying rigorous reasoning to navigate the manifest world. It necessitates the removal of linear assumptions. The text is an active trust, waiting for the reader to grip the book and engage the process of becoming.